Hello, my name is Brooke Leifso and I'm the lead researcher for the Autism CanTech project. In this presentation, I will give an overview of the Autism CanTech, or ACT project, and discuss our approach to creating inclusive employment opportunities for autistic youth. I will also speak to the research project embedded within the program, asking what are the barriers to gain and maintain a meaningful employment, and what supports are needed for autistic workers to thrive. Autism CanTech is funded by the Employment and Social Development Canada and is for autistic youth ages 18 to 30 to learn entry-level employability and technical skills to start careers in the digital economy. They must not be currently employed, in training, or education. They can self-diagnose, and they need to have basic computer skills, feeling confident using a PC and software programs such as Microsoft Office, Google Workplace, etc. We use the social model, recognizing that disability is environmental or within society and not individual impairment. With that, we are looking to employ autistic youth in the digital economy, teaching essential skills to both autistic youth and employer partners. The ultimate goal is inclusion and contributing to a diverse workforce. National in scope, NorQuest College in Edmonton, Alberta, has partnered with Douglas College in Vancouver, Humber College in Toronto, and recently has received additional funds for an urban center expansion, focusing on mid-scale cities. We have just completed our first cohort experience, so our project is still growing and discovering new approaches to inclusion. The process of making an inclusive and successful environment needs a keen reflection practice regarding who the program is ideally for, both with participants and employer partners. Inclusion in this way is about who is best suited, but also what specific population is experiencing marginalization with little programming present. Within an Albertan context, the autistic community can struggle with meeting eligibility requirements for assured income initiatives. Their IQs are too high, or they are deemed as too high functioning, while still needing assistance within employment sectors, life skills, and independent living, and navigating access needs to be met. So while we are always thinking about expanding selection criteria and expanding just the program in general, we recognize needing to clarify who the project best aids in being successful and not setting up either party for failure. From the onset, ACT worked with Technology North and our college partners to design an autistic-centered inclusive environment. We recognize that both employer partners and autistic workers need support in redressing current barriers. I'll be going through what we have in place and our ways to refine supports provided by the program and advocate for larger systemic changes. Currently, our program provides autistic-centered curriculum that is responsive to the needs of industry and participants, a well-supported work experience, training, career coaches, and RoboCoach. Employer partners are provided with an online training package. The training explains autism both in a medical and social model, dispelling common biases and ideas about autism. It also uses disability-specific scenarios to introduce concepts such as the platinum rule, growth versus fixed mindset, and the importance of diversity. In our first focus group, employer partners have noted the training modules setting a good foundation for supervising and mentoring an ACT participant. It made them think on their recruitment protocols and highlighted current biases within their unique work cultures and their industries in general. For example, employer partners now note the importance of creating diverse interviewing approaches. It's important that program participants feel well supported throughout the entire program. Participants often speak about their very poor experiences throughout their education journeys. It's often the first time that participants have been in a classroom setting exclusively with and for other autistic adult students, allowing their experiences and perspectives to be validated and centered in a way that they have not been before. Autistic advocates on our advisory committee described workplaces as foreign countries. In this metaphor, the classroom training is a guidebook on the etiquette and customs of the new lands. For example, when do you use chat versus email? What is a standard way of dress and why? Participants note learning concrete technical skills that make them feel confident in the workplace. If the workplace is a foreign country, then career coaches are tour guides. Throughout the process and then 6 months after, career coaches support finding and keeping employment. Career coaches guide the participant through the recruitment process and provide one-on-one support in the new office terrain. For example, a career coach will guide a participant on how to tell employer partners they need a sick day, or if there's an employment opportunity after the work experience. In addition to career coaching, participants have a peer mentor assigned to them and a specifically trained supervisor. So with these 3 people, then hopefully an autistic participant has lots of support to ask any questions they have, whether about specific tasks or about work etiquette in general. In partnership with Technology North, an autistic-focused task management software has been created, RoboCoach. Its streamlined approach allows for only the essentials: emotional check-ins, task breakdown and instruction, and a chat function that gives direct access to supports. The software has been designed with autistic data workers in mind, minimal and concrete, specific for the use of career coaches, supervisors, and autistic workers to complete tasks efficiently. For more information on RoboCoach, please visit the Technology North link provided in the slides. While the program evaluates impact, the research situates the project in a larger conversation about autistic employment and inclusive workplaces. What is working in our program? What pre-existing structures already provide support? What are the current biggest barriers autistic workers face from their own perspective and from the perspectives of their support networks and employer partners and instructors? Throughout the ACT project, I explore what specific barriers participants face in employment and what they need for support. We embody nothing about us without us. Their voice, rather than outside experts, is key. We are gathering overlapping perspectives in the hope of creating a full and varied picture of what an autistic worker needs to thrive. And as we know, accessibility is often connected. One access need can make the office more accessible for all. For example, remote working may best suit someone with autism, but also someone who uses mobility aids, has chronic pain, or a worker navigating childcare. Access then ripples out to create inclusion for more than one population. Research activities allow different preferences of communication and different ways of accessing both the autistic community and industry. Their differing perspectives allow us to paint a fuller, complex picture of possible steps towards greater inclusion. Focus groups occur every 2 months for participants, allowing them a space to meet others in the program across cohorts and the country. Focus groups for support networks and employer partners occur once per cohort. Groups discuss difficulties facing inclusion for autistic workers, current supports, and possible changes within our program and beyond to create even greater inclusion. Interviews cover the same topics, but the one-to-one nature allows greater insight into their experience. Photo voice allows the participants who are more visual to share. For example, they might provide a picture of the bus that they take to work and then discuss how public transportation facilitates and hinders working. Our first cohort just finished their work experience, so data collection is in the early stages. However, we can share some preliminary findings we have discovered. All parties we spoke to talked about the need for employer partners to understand autism. Participants have expressed ease at being part of a program where the employer partners know of their neurodivergency without needing to individually disclose. Education can relate directly to empathy and removing biases and uncertainties amongst employers. Participants continually note transportation being a barrier to employment. The majority of participants rely on public transportation, with very long commutes, an hour plus, and/or transfers. When participants can choose where to live and work, working remotely, living close to their place of work, or reliable transportation is key. Both employer partners and participants noted the need for consistent mental health support. This looks like 2 different approaches. One, affordable and consistent mental health supports for autistic workers. Many participants noted receiving therapeutic supports, but found it challenging to find affordable or free ongoing support during hours that worked within their schedules. And 2, mental health training for both employer partners and participants and how to navigate emotional escalations in both supervisors and autistic workers. For example, how does an employer partner deal with a worker with anxiety? How does an autistic worker navigate a boss who is impatient in giving direction? Which brings me to my last point, setting up autistic workers for success by giving detailed, short, and clear instructions well in advance. Everyone noted this being key to success. So what's next? Well, we aim to continue to learn directly from participants and employer partners what is needed within workplaces to create inclusive, thriving environments. We then share these learnings with the ACT team to improve the program, while also advocating for greater change, like a national transit plan, or perhaps better urban planning. I also aim to follow up on new threads or inquiries of interest brought into the conversation by participants. For example, participants have expressed the difficulties in regarding the need to mask at work. So how can our program build out new knowledge? And what can we add to the current research and best practices regarding these topics? Thank you for watching from across the country. For any questions or thoughts regarding ACT, our practices or research, please email me at the email below, brooke.leifso@norquest.ca. Thanks!